This video is an excerpt from a chapter in my science fiction novel entitled The Snapdragon Code by Jude Dupert-Duville, now offered on Amazon. Please watch and enjoy. "Well, I'm glad to be home," Stan says, in the same way a traveling salesman would greet his wife after a long, hard week on the road. Only thing was, he didn't have to worry about making any sales quotas. He had already met his goals on the same day he hit this planet. The code gave him the world. All he had to do was keep it. He had control of the crystal, the probabilities, and the media. "Stan, I still have a warm slice of my special meatloaf right here waiting for you if you're hungry. Have you had supper yet?" B asks, wanting to make him feel welcomed and comfortable in his own home. "I'd love some, along with a glass of my red." With that request, Evie was immediately at the wine rack in the pantry, uncorking one of his favorite bottles. Up to this point, Adam had held back, bothering Stan while he ate, but as soon as that last forkful of meatloaf and baked potato was in his mouth, Adam started talking to him about anything and everything involving his school, his teachers, his tutor, and his math. "So, Adam, what you're telling me right now is that this universe is, well, it's like a hologram? Is that what they're teaching you at school?"
No, it's not school, it's the math that describes it. It's the non-commutative and Lie algebras. I can even show you a model of the 8-dimensional crystal that I have on my computer. That's what helps me visualize the 8 dimensions and how a slice of that, at a very particular angle, is projected down to a 4-dimensional quasi-crystal whose projection may very well create our reality. What they're thinking is that each spherical dimension within the E8 crystal is tiled with tetrahedrons, and each spherical dimension sits inside the next one, like Russian nesting dolls. What's important to remember is that you cannot go beyond the 8 layers or dimensions of these tetrahedrons. More than 8 and the projections would become distorted. Just like when two mirrors, reflecting off of each other, reflect to an infinite numbers of copies. The points where each dimensional sphere touches the next becomes a vertex or intersecting angle. And these vertexes...
So, do you actually think we are living in a kind of hologram? Do you actually think that you or I are in a simulation?
A moment of silence is followed by a swift revelation.
We must be. Especially because if this is a hologram, it would explain so many of the riddles that have plagued physicists for so long.
But Adam, who do you think would have created this holographic reality?
People like us, bored with their world and looking for a new one. What else? So Stan, do you remember learning about the double-slit experiment when you were in school?
Actually, I do remember reading something about it some years ago. If I recall, photons were being shot through a barrier with 2 slits a short distance apart. When the particles went through the slits, they seemingly acted as waves interfering with each other, and that interference pattern itself showed up on the back wall at the time of impact. Am I right, Adam?
Yes, and what happens when you put a detector at both slits to see which slit they go through before hitting the wall? They uncloak themselves. The pilot wave collapses, unveiling the location of the actual particle. That sounds weird, right? But actually it's not. In a sense, pilot waves save computational energy for the giant quantum computer in the sky. Pilot waves can cover a lot of space, sometimes spreading out halfway across the universe, which is mind-boggling. That's what allows a particle to materialize only where and when it's revealed or activated. It's almost like finding a taxi at your disposal no matter where you are or where you want to go. But there's an unexpected backstory to this field of science, a simpler way to explain quantum mechanics weirdness. This backstory tells us more about reality than all of the experiments, including Bell's theorem. Until and unless physicists accept that backstory, physics cannot move forward.
And what, pray tell, is the backstory, Adam?
Have you ever heard of determinism or superdeterminism?
That's absolutely ridiculous.
You wouldn't say that, Stan, if you truly understood what's going on behind the scenes. I, and a few others, believe that determinism runs this universe, and the truth of it lies hidden in the pilot wave itself. It's the hidden hand, Stan, the hidden hand.
So, of all the ideas this kid could have come up with, he had to hit me with the one I'm worried about the most. Stan tells himself while trying to keep his composure so that no one would notice his distress.
If Jetrel betrayed me, I swear I will go back and find him. If they switched programs on me, I will destroy them.
Did you say something, Stan? No, not really. I was just talking to myself. I wonder where Adam went. I'm afraid, Evie, I may have upset him by something I just said. Let me go and find him and I'll straighten it out.
Adam had already gone to his room, and that's where Stan found him, laying on his bed and staring up at the ceiling.
Adam, I'm not mad at you in the least. I didn't mean to react that way. I just happened to think you may be on the wrong track, and I don't want you to waste your time going down a dead end. I mean, you just said that other physicists don't accept that line of reasoning, right? Apparently, it's a controversial subject. Why not follow their guidance and wait for more evidence to come in before jumping to conclusions about this? I know less than you do about this, but it almost sounds like this theory would mean we are all, well, just robots or something.
I don't need anyone's guidance, Stan. I just want to be alone for a while.
Okay, Adam, that's fine. We'll discuss this a little more some other time.
Later on that evening, Stan checks back with Adam and asks him if he'd like to play some pool. Ladies, if you'd like to join us, Adam and I will be downstairs in the billiards room. With that, Stan heads downstairs and to the bar to refill his wine glass. Tonight I'm going to relax with Adam and then I'll spend some time with Evie. It's nice to be away from the city. I miss this place. Tonight I'm going to relax with Adam and then I'll spend some time with Evie. It's nice to be away from the city. I miss this place. Hey Adam, would you mind if I ask Paul and Bruce, you know my bodyguards, to play a game with us tonight? I'll call them over and see if they can give us a few pointers. Adam, did you know that Paul used to be a pool shark before he came to work for me? So is that okay with you? Adam, of course, gladly gives his consent, thinking how much fun this was going to be, spending time with tough guys.
Stan, can I ask you something personal? So, whatever happened to your eye? Did you get into a fight or something? Well, it was kind of a fight, but not the kind you're thinking of.
It happened when I was escaping from a bad situation a long time ago. I'll tell you more about it some other time.
Stan, I just wanted to tell you that anytime you want some alone time, we can keep Adam occupied, so don't hesitate to ask for a timeout when you want one, okay?
Well, Evie, I think I can keep him busy for a little while. My men, Paul and Bruce, will be joining Adam and I in a game of around-the-world billiards. However, after that, I would especially appreciate it if you would meet me in the theater room to watch an old favorite movie I brought with me for tonight. Will you commit to joining me at 10?
I'd love to, and don't tell me which movie it is. Surprise me.
Why don't you girls take a seat and watch the experts dazzle you with their skills?
No, this looks like a boys' night out to me. I'll leave you guys alone to enjoy yourselves. See you at 10, Evie.
See you at 10, Evie.
On their way from the clubhouse, down the stairs and through the underground hallway to the billiards room, Paul quietly says, "What the hell's gotten into him lately? He's acting almost human."
Bruce answers, "Scuttlebutt is that it's the woman. That's why he's been in a good mood. Anyway, that's what I overheard from someone who works for Stan's friend at the Ramil's estate down the road." Paul nods and says, "It's a woman that explains it."
As the guys make their way toward the billiards room, Evie smiles and says, "I think they're waiting for you." Then, after Evie and her mom disappear into the elevator, Bruce whispers, "Damn pretty lady, now I think I understand."
As the two men enter the large mahogany-paneled room, they spot the green, felt-covered billiard table and their boss standing there, with chalk and cue stick in hand.
Well, boys, the reason I've asked you here tonight is so you can give Adam and me some tips on how to play a competitive game of pool. Also, I want you to know that neither of you are officially on duty tonight, so you can have alcohol. You're probably also a little hungry, so I've asked Renee to make us up some appetizers. They'll be ready in a little while. We'll start with a game of 8-ball, and then we'll play a game of Around the World if we have time, Adam, so pay attention. Bruce here used to make a living at doing just this, so watch and learn from him.
After mixing himself a black Russian cocktail and drinking more than half of it right away, Bruce put on an exhibition for the boys by clearing the table, one ball at a time, without missing a call or scratching out. Bruce put on an exhibition for the boys by clearing the table, one ball at a time, without missing a call or scratching out. Then the wiry, deep-voiced pool shark took the time to show off with a few trick shots, teaching each of them how to set up the table so they could try it themselves. After many attempts, even Adam had succeeded in making one of the difficult shots, though he really had never played the game. Okay, now Adam, are you ready to play a real game? We'll start you off with one of the popular games called Around the World. Playing this game will give you a good feel for handling the stick and making pockets without scratching, which is the point of this game. You want to keep control of the cue ball and the table so that your opponent gets frustrated. That's how you win the game, by hoarding the table so he or she gets pissed off, upset, and he or she can't concentrate. Almost a half an hour into the game and getting frequent pointers from both Bruce and Paul, Adam was learning the importance of not only trying to make the easy shots, but planning ahead and setting the table up to make those bank shots. It was difficult, more difficult than he had expected, but then he thought about how tough the game would be if all available 11 spatial dimensions were in play, and for a minute, he began to visualize just what that would look like.
Don't take so long for each shot, Adam. Just name your ball, pick your pocket, and shoot. Otherwise, the guys you're playing with will get pissed off, get mad at you.
I'm sorry. I was just picturing how I would play this game if I could hit the balls through all 11 dimensions. I could try tunneling the balls directly into the pockets while bypassing the ones in my way. It would be a blast.
So Adam, what were you just saying about playing in 11 dimensions? Is that something you're learning at Webster's?
No, it's a new book I just got from Josh Green. It's called Einstein's Intuition, Visualizing Nature in 11 Dimensions, and it's a much simpler way to explain complex physics problems. It gives the probability wave theory a more deterministic explanation. It has surprising implications, and ones, I believe, that can be taken much, much further. I can't tell you what I think it means until I give it more thought. However, I'm pretty sure what I suspect is true might be correct.
And what do you suspect is true, Adam? I know you said you needed to think about this more, but please, just give me a hint if you would.
Well, it's believed that electrons surf on or under pilot waves, just like people surf the waves at the beach. In the quantum world, however, pilot waves appear to randomly take particles in one direction or the other. Sometimes, the wave takes the particle where it wants to go, like on a predetermined path, and the unsuspecting particle has no choice but to go along for the ride. The funny thing is that the particle has no way of telling which kind of wave it's riding. The implications of this idea are sort of mind-blowing. Right now, I'm having too much fun to get into it with you, other than to say that we, as humans, cannot be certain which kind of wave we're riding either.
Hey kid, remember that just because we're playing pool, it doesn't mean the balls on the table are riding waves. If you want to win the game, you've got to make these balls get into their pockets by hitting them, not by giving them surfboards.
I'm not going to let this bother me tonight. By 9:45 p.m., he thanks his guards and tells them to enjoy the amenities, saying, "Hey guys, I appreciate your teaching us a few tricks of the trade. So, take the rest of the appetizers with you and use the hot tub, take a swim, relax, and do whatever. You've got the run of the place tonight." Stan tells them as he and Adam head upstairs to find Evie.